So guys, finally, the United States has taken moves to hold Fulani politicians responsible for all the criminalities happening in Nigeria. Now, take a look at this headline here. It says, U.S. Congress proposes visa ban, asset freeze against Kwankwaso, Miyetti Allah, Fulani groups for promoting massacre of Christians in Nigeria. Many Nigerians have said this is long overdue. Now, this other headline here says, breaking news, U.S. lawmakers unveil bill to tackle Christian persecution in Nigeria. And you can also see this headline here says, Christian genocide, U.S. government moves to designate Fulani militias as foreign terrorist organization over religious violence. And now, see how this headline here puts it. It says, U.S. Republican lawmakers seek terrorist designation for Fulani militias in new bill. It went ahead to say some Republican lawmakers in the United States House of Representatives have introduced a bill seeking the possible designation of Fulani ethnic militias as a foreign terrorist organization over religious violence in Nigeria. The proposed legislation, titled Nigeria Religious Freedom and Accountability Act of 2026, was introduced by Ray Moore and co-sponsored by Chris Smith alongside other Republicans. The bill calls on the U.S. Secretary of State to consider whether Fulani militias should be formally designated as terrorist organization and to submit annual reports to Congress on efforts to address alleged religious persecution in Nigeria. So guys, many people have said this is highly welcome, because why the Fulanis are doing what they are doing in Nigeria is because they have their brothers and sisters in power. They have their, their members, Miyetti Allah members. You can imagine the Sultan of Sokoto is a member of the Miyetti Allah. Ribadu is a member. Erufa is a member. I mean, all these top politicians, they are all members of the Miyetti Allah. And we've seen where Miyetti Allah came out on different occasions claiming responsibility for people who were killed. They will give excuses of their cows being roasted and all that. And today, the U.S. is about to designate them as, a terrorist organization. And not just that, some individuals are going to be targeted in all these people like Kwankwaso, like you've seen in this headline here, saying the U.S. proposes visa ban, asset freeze against Kwankwaso, Miyetti Allah, Fulani group for promoting massacre of Christians in Nigeria. So if the U.S. is going to do this on Miyetti Allah, it's going to affect even the Sultan of Sokoto. It's going to affect Ribadu. All those who are members of Miyetti Allah, they are going to be part of, the sanction that the U.S. is going to bring. So guys, somebody argued saying in Ghana, the Fulanis are not causing the menace they are causing in Nigeria, because in Ghana did not allow them in the corridor of power. That why they are doing what they are doing in Nigeria is because they have their brothers and sisters in government, in military, in judiciary, in all those top government parastatal. They are all positioned. And that is why a Fulani man cannot be facing the law. They don't go to jail. If they are arrested, they are released and all that. So guys, I'm just going to allow you to take a look at this video where this lady, who is even a Fulani person, has come out to say that her Fulani brothers don't give them power. If you give them power, they abuse it. And then you are going to be seeing other videos. So guys, let me quickly show you how Nigerians have reacted after Kwankwaso was mentioned among those the US will be taking action against as regards to the killing of Christians by Fulani terrorists. Let me show you what Nigerians are saying. This person here reacted saying he will not come to APC and be protected there, and even be given a post. Bookmark this. Another person here reacted saying Miyetti Allah is a terrorist organization. It is not a discovery. Malame and Buhari refuse to proscribe them. And then this other person here say the government's silence on naming the real perpetrators while groups are publicly implicated shows either political caution or fear of backlash. Many will be exposed soon. As for Kwankwaso, his political career is effectively over, with news like this coming from the United States. So this person is saying that the APC government knows those sponsoring terrorism, but they don't want to name them. And now US is taking that bold step that this is an end to Kwankwaso's political career. Because if the US designates you as somebody who sponsors terrorism, you know what that means. It's going to affect you in everything. And this is somebody who is planning to become the president of Nigeria. And this other reaction here says they should extend it to Gumi and others in the APC government sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria. Now, this person here say basically Kwankwaso has been unmasked, and this arthropod wants to be president of Nigeria, that he's planning to become president. Another person here said Rabio Musa Kwankwaso didn't see this coming. US lawmakers proposed bill on religious persecution in Nigeria. So I think this is a section of the bill. Let me read it. And it says, section 7 of it says the Department of State and the Department of the Treasury should impose targeted sanction, including visa ban and asset freeze under the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act on individuals or entities responsible for severe religious freedom violations, or report to Congress the reasons such sanctions have not been imposed, including Fulani ethnic nomad militia in Nigeria. Rabio Kwankwaso, former Kanu state governor. Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, MACBAN. I think the Sultan of Sokoto is also a member of Mieti Allah. And this one, Mieti Allah Terrörists. This is going to affect almost all the Fulanis in political positions because they either belong to the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association or they belong to the Mieti Allah Terrörists. So if you are part of this group, you are already designated. People like Gumi fall in this group. These people, many of them are in these two groups. So it's going to affect many politicians in the north. We just hope that the Tinubu's government will take step further to start naming those who are sponsoring terrorism if they really want Nigerians to live in peace in this country. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification for more. Thank you.
Investigate my ethnic background. I'm a Fulani girl, okay? And I want to say that put Fulani in power at your detriment. At your detriment, okay? And Ghanaians understood this fact. This is why they didn't allow them to be in strategic positions of power. They limit the kind of power. Of course, they involve them in politics and all that, but they don't hold significant amount of power in Ghana, and that is why they're angry. They're not angry because they're angry because Fulanis are not in a strategic position of power. Come and check the northern Nigeria where they hold significant amount of power. Look at the atrocities that's happening, and they are the one causing it. Okay, go to the south. The southern Nigeria is not infested with banditry and massacres because Fulanis are not in power there. They are powerless there. They are there, but they don't hold any power there. And some people are saying Sankara is a Fulani because Sankara was a Fulani. Look at the atrocities they are causing in Mali. Look at the atrocities that, if not for Traore who came and decided to stop them. Look. So yes, Fulanis are good when you don't allow them to be in strategic position of power. They're peaceful, lovely. All right. The greatest sabotage you can ever do for yourself, especially the South, I'm talking to you now, is to allow Fulanis to come, and they will come in the name of Islam, okay? This is what happened to the North. This is the strategy that Danfodio used, and they want to use that same strategy in Southwest. All right? They will say, oh, we are of the same the kind of Islam that Fulanis are practicing is not the one that you are practicing. No. That is why your side is peaceful and our side is chaotic. The recent massacre that happened in Kwara North, in Woro community, it was Islam. They came and they came to the community and said, okay, we want to preach Islam to do in a Muslim community. Are you joking with me right now?
So let's start what's trending this morning.
2030.
We start what's trending today with an exclusive story that we're breaking here on Arise News. As U.S. Congressmen Riley Moore and Chris Smith have proposed the Nigeria Religious Freedom and Accountability Act of 2026, recommending targeted sanctions, asset freezes, and visa bans against former presidential candidate Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association, Mieti Allah Terrörists, and what they describe as Fulani ethnic nomad militia. The bill alleges that the named individuals and groups are responsible for severe religious freedom violations. Shared by Moore on X earlier today, the document outlines statistics and historical accounts of attacks on Christians and on Muslims who advocate religious tolerance. It cites a lack of prosecutions or convictions of jihadist actors, characterizes this as a failure of the Nigerian government, and calls for coordinated support from France, the UK, and Hungary. The report also urges investigation into cases where non-Muslims are allegedly subjected to Sharia or blasphemy laws, and makes reference to victims including Rhoda Jatau and Deborah Yakubu. Now let's take a look at some tweets coming from the United States X space. Sean Nelson said the powerhouse team of Rep. Chris Smith and Rep. Riley Moore today introduced a new bill on religious freedom in Nigeria, increasing accountability measures, including recommendations for sanctions against Fulani militia and former Kano State Governor Kwankwaso, who introduced Sharia criminal law there. Nakabulu responded and said, well, how much were you paid to target and tarnish Kwankwaso's image? Zamfara State introduced Sharia first in Nigeria as part of their right because it's in the constitution of Nigeria. Christians are safer in Kano State than virtually Christian-dominated states in Nigeria. Well, of course, what we do know is that the first governor to introduce and implement Sharia law was Governor Ahmed Sani Yerima of Zamfara State in January of 2000, with other states following after that. Well, could this be a case of mistaken identity? Although we know that the bill itself, the proposed bill itself, doesn't make reference to Kwankwaso implementing Sharia law, but the commentary around it alludes to that. So it's a very huge development because there have been several threats about naming people and outing people. And I think, I'm not sure whether people would be surprised that the first name on that list would belong to Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. Dr. Abati, I'll come to you.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you know, the United States has been interested under President Trump, either in his first term or now the second term, in religious persecution in Nigeria. Ditto, the Department of State of the United States, also the Department of Justice, and also now you have the African Command being involved, with President Donald Trump carrying the flag and saying there is religious persecution in Nigeria. The federal government of Nigeria has made, you know, considerable effort in that direction to say that Nigeria is a secular country and that whereas there is insecurity in the country, there is no such thing as religious persecution. But so that's the background. And now, over the years, Nigerians have been saying, name the persons. Before now, there was an attempt, I think, by the United States and also the United Arab Emirates to say that there are certain Nigerians in government and out of government who are funding terrorism. I think also under the Jonathan administration, there was some debate about the admittance at a senior level that, in fact, there were saboteurs inside the government. Now we have reached an interesting point whereby the United States House of Reps, Representative Chris Smith, I think he's 73 years old, the two oldest persons in the House of Reps in the U.S., you know, he's been there since 1978, representing the 14th District of New Jersey. And then you have Congressman Riley Moore, also now, you know, proposing a bill. And they are now saying that, one, the United States Congress should declare the Katauri, you know, Mieti ala Katauri, you know, should declare it a terrorist organization, and also Mieti ala itself, which is the principal, you know, home body, should be declared. And then they have now, in that contest, named certain persons, and it is the name of Senator, you know, former Governor Dr. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, you know, flag bearer in the last general elections of the NMPP that has been mentioned. And then Makban, I think Makban, there's a group called Makban. Fulani ethnic nomads have also been named. Well, this matter has to go before the Congress, and they've indicated penalties that such persons will be declared as terrorists. Such persons will not be allowed to go anywhere near the United States of America. So it's a developing story. The matter will still go to Congress. It will be debated. But what you can say is that with the involvement of both Congressman Chris Smith and Riley Moore, this may be an outcome of the various visitations to Nigeria and the interactions with the Nigerian authorities. But we on our own at this table cannot reach a conclusion and say, oh, these persons, these groups, you know, have been so properly identified. So there will be also negotiations, discussions at the binational level.
Absolutely. Ayo, your take on this
Okay, so
very
this
important
is a huge story. And It's come up from, there's a journey towards this point, starting off, of course, very significantly, amongst the other things that have happened, that post, that infamous post by President Donald Trump, which then triggered a chain of reaction. Obviously, from the Nigerian end, the efforts that have been made to convince the U.S. government that there's no Christian genocide happening has not seemed to yield much fruit, because the conclusion of this bill is that there is Christian genocide happening. In fact, before we talk about the main thrust of the story, which is the naming of some of the people they've identified to institute the Magnitsky Agreement Act, which includes asset freezing. It's not just visa bans, it's also asset freezing, and also this would have an implication for them beyond the United States of America. In fact, in this bill, some of their partners are mentioned, the United Kingdom, as well as others are mentioned, France, and they might, France, Hungary. Some of them might also decide to take on the same action. But I think beyond that is how detailed the report, about a 12-page bill. The preamble was to give details to the extent of the investigation that they did, including the congressional hearing, the fact that both Christian and moderate Muslims have been killed, the fact that some of them who opposed these things were targeted, were kidnapped, and were killed. So a lot of detail in the work that they did, and then the conclusion around what ought to be done, including the naming of these people. You know, all through this journey, let me call it that, what I've been insistent on is that I wish that Nigeria took the lead on this, because it is quite sad that we're now referring to or depending on the United States to tell us what is happening in our country and what ought to be done. I want to almost say the audacity of one sovereign to interfere in the, in fact, what they've cited as an example is that it's a threat to U.S. national security, and that's why they've taken an interest in this matter. But it should be more of an interest for Nigerians. But I think we can't even begin to decide whether or not there's Christian genocide in the first place before we decide to begin to take action in that regard. So that's my first point. The second point then I would then talk about would be what would be the implication of this naming of these individuals, of these people. I agree with Dr. Bati not to jump the gun, because I would like to understand the reasoning behind, because they didn't actually give a clear reason why he in particular was identified. And I'm glad that you drew in the Sharia law, because they mentioned it in this bill, that the Sharia law, blasphemy law was, part of the discrimination against Christians and some people living in this area. So a few things around there. There are nuances, there are contexts that were not contained in this particular bill. But most importantly, what I'm calling for the Nigerian government at this point, can we take a lead on this? If there are indeed people who are killed because of their faith, can we do something about it? Can our senators, and this is where we call the National Assembly, can they do something about it? Their counterparts in the US have gone ahead to present their own report and made recommendations, and a bill has been passed. Can we do something about it back home? And finally, I'll rest on this point that, most importantly, can we now, they've accused, one of the charges brought against Malami is the fact that he didn't do anything about the list that was brought before him, and making that renewed call, that can we also identify the terrorist financiers or supporters or backers in Nigeria and do something about it? Exactly. That's what I would say.
And it's sparking another conversation that we had in the beginning, which is that, is the Nigerian government collaborating with the United States as equals, or are we cooperating, meaning there's some form of coercion happening for us to sort of, agree to the terms that are being set out? Because it does seem like the United States is taking the lead. And the Pentagon, in a related development, the Pentagon is sending about 200 troops to Nigeria in the coming weeks to help train its military to fight Islamist militants. This is weeks after President Trump criticized the country for failing to shield Christians from terrorist attacks. Now, this is according to a U.S. official who spoke on Tuesday. The troops will augment the small team of U.S. forces. You remember we'd spoken about the small team who have been in the West African nation for weeks, assisting local soldiers with identifying potential terrorist targets for strikes using American and Nigerian intelligence. This is what the official said, who spoke on the condition of anonymity and was discussing operational matters. The new troops, whose impending deployment was reported by the Wall Street Journal, will be assigned to locations across the country to provide troop training and technical expertise. The U.S. troops, it is reiterated, will not be involved in combat operations. This is according to the official who spoke on this matter. An exclusive that was released by Wall Street Journal, of course, has now been widely circulated. But, Rufai, just to put these issues together, now we're seeing names, there are lists. Some people are arguing saying that, oh, why are we nitpicking this one name on the list when there's several governors? If it's about Sharia law, there's several governors who implemented it. If that's the context, what is the context? Give us the detail and give us your evidence as well.
A lot of things have gone awry in Nigeria, and we remember the conversations around Sharia law sprung up, in the early 2000s. And we knew there were going to be a lot of blowbacks, and we're beginning to see the blowbacks now today. So it's not today that we've been talking about this. For what it's worth, those that say, oh yeah, there should be Sharia law in parts of this country, if we also now make the argument that can we also have canon laws in some parts of the country, they will say no, straight away. So we should be careful. Ayo, you asked a very fundamental question. Why can't Nigeria take the lead on it? Because the Nigerian state cannot handle the complicity in this matter. Pure and simple. There's complicity. President Jonathan said it. Dr. Bati, don't lie. President Jonathan said it this time about complicity in the fight against insecurity. This government has also said it. To a large extent, we've not been able to handle the complicity. Till today, we've not answered questions around, number one, Vimbai, who ordered the military to leave 30 minutes before the KB girls were picked up. Look at the case in Kwara. We talked about complicity. When they forwarded the report that these criminals are coming to the security authorities, who informed the criminals that made them get angry and come quickly? Complicity. Secondly, it's because of that complicity too that after the UAE released that list of terrorist financiers, the government can't go after them. So if you have a case of complicity, America will come and write your narrative for you. That's what's happening. It's not that we can't solve the problem of insecurity, but we are not bold enough to solve the problem of complicity. I mean, this was the same country that fought Mitasani in the 80s. So we are not bold enough to fight the complicity that has gone into every single architecture. That's why Americans are taking the lead. And you can never be equals with America. Vimbai, American defense budget is over 800 billion. That's 4 times our national GDP.
Well, I believe that reactions will continue to come in and this conversation will move forward as this is a huge development with regards to our insecurity issues and relations with the United States. Now, let's move over to the Senate, where social media has been a hive of activity following the Senate's unanimous passage of the Electoral Amendment Bill proposing dual mode of election results transmission, with many reacting to Senator Enginaya Abaribe's swift retreat after initially proposing that senators vote individually on the proposal.
Senator Abaribe has proposed that we should go ahead and vote. So those SARS. Abbas, Osho, Baba. Now, gentlemen, this is the beauty of democracy.
Well, the reactions to that were mixed, with some people saying, what a bold moment from Senator Abaribe, and other people saying, oh, why didn't he stick to his guns? And others also saying, where were the other opposition senators in the room? Well, protests also continued for a second day outside the National Assembly yesterday, with appearances from former River State Governor Rotimi Amechi, who brought his son with him, and former Minister Solomon Dalung. Whilst day one of the protests was relatively calm, day two saw rising tension between protesters and the security forces, including a face-off between Amechi and the police, as well as Aisha Yesufu and the police.
Nobody can frustrate my rights. Nobody. And it will get of this country. Just to say, let's continue what I do. The one thing that you short, let me tell you something. The thing that all of you can do here, I swear you will kill people. I tell you, I assure you. Enough is enough. Yes. Go in front Nobody can.
However, we're going to round up what's trending on a much lighter note. We head to Rivers State, where the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara, assured the press on Tuesday that the new Port Harcourt Ring Road project will be finished by October this year. The governor made these comments after inspecting the road's progress, where he also sparked mixed reactions on social media when he stated that his oga, or his boss, the FCT minister Nyesom Wike, assured him that finishing the road will earn him favor with the people of the state. Let's take a look.
For me, this project is very important, considering the person who conceived it, my Oga, Honorable Minister. He had a very big vision. He believed that if I achieve this project at record time, Rivers people will be happy with me. So I also, notwithstanding whatever is happening, it is also my wish and my struggle to ensure that that wish comes to be.
Well, these comments illustrate this unique dynamic between Wike and Fubara, with the Rivers governor still appearing to refer to him on key projects, including with this road that's expected to cut across 5 local government areas of the state. My Oga has instructed me.
Let me give you my quick opinion.
Yeah.
2 of them, President Tinubu is playing 2 of them as a game. Now, if we call him his Oga because President Tinubu has helped them to avert his impeachment based on the report we got. If there's fire on the mountain again, they don't agree again tomorrow, he will call him names again. So all of this, the fight is in the interest of President Tinubu, and he's just playing both of them as yo-yo. I pity both of them.
No, but if a man has been your boss, you served him as accountant, right?
Yeah.
Of the state, and then you served him as SSG, is your guy. Within our culture, there is a cultural dimension to it. A man that is your boss for life. And that's a fact. Many people who have left government, who have served under people, continue to refer to them as my Oga. That is, people who are properly well brought up, not badly brought up children who do not realize or respect seniority. So if he says Wike is his Oga, it's a fact in terms of the relationship between them. Government, however, is a continuity. If he says he wants to complete a project, that is what we expect. Because money has been expended on that project, we don't expect that he will abandon it because of whatever personal differences he may have with his former boss. For life, Wike will be his boss. So acknowledging that, I don't see why that is a story, really.
Dr. Bati, sometimes it's not forever. Things
not
change.
forever. Things change.
Situations change. Oga today can be followed tomorrow.
But your guy is your guy.
No, but it's just giving him the respect because when things were
there's one song called Ogana Man.
No, Dr. Bati, you see, that's why we say we should be balanced. When things were not good, this was the same man abusing Wike.
He was not referring to him as
God bless you, Ayo.
So what
Let's
he's
not
just
be
doing
polo
here
polo. Let's
is
not
just
be
to
polo polo.
demonstrate the fact that what the meeting they went for in
So they were
Abuja
successful.
has
That's
worked.
just it.
Abuja meeting is
He
successful.
doesn't do that too.
Shall we agree to disagree? Let's agree to disagree.
No, but I was
That's
thinking
it.
at the time.
Yeah, we
was
should not have a Portuguese parliament.
Yeah.
Now, look,
Colombia
when
Parliament.
somebody is your boss, he's your
Are you
boss.
sure it's not like the
And
Senate we saw
Fubara
yesterday?
has always referred to Wike as his Oga.
I do.
This
Okay.
is not the first time. So
On that
go
note.
and fact check.
Okay,
Go and fact check.
and fact
He has
check.
always referred to him
He
as his
has
Oga.
always. Well, Fubara has accepted that Wike is a, what did you say? 001 for life.
That's not what he said.
We're going to milestones now.
was like,
Under milestones, where today, February 11, marks exactly 48 years since the 20 Naira note was introduced to the public by former military head of state Olusegun Obasanjo. It was 13 years after independence that Nigeria's currency went from being recognized as pounds, shillings, and pence to naira and kobo. Obasanjo came to power in 1976 and amidst sweeping reforms introduced the 20 naira note just 1 year later. From the moment it became public, the currency became Nigeria's highest denomination at the time, with its release coinciding with the country's economic strides. It also emerged as a cultural symbol, as it was the first time Nigeria's currency featured its own citizens. On the front was General Murtala Ramat Mohammed, the former head of state, while the back featured Ladi Kwali, a potter from the Gwari region in northern Nigeria, whose dedication to her craft led to global recognition. Kwali is the only woman who features on Nigerian currency, so it's also worth celebrating her life's achievements as well. In 1963, she was awarded a Member of the Order of the British Empire. And, we look at life now in 2026. When was the last time any of you touched a 20 naira note?
No, the 20 naira note is still in
circulation. But, what can you do with it?
Talk about it, deal more in charge.
I have 20 naira note. You want me
I have a collection
it's
of
now
old
in
50
the
naira
annals of history.
I think the story is relevant because this week, before now, we've been celebrating General Murtala Mohammed, whose image, appeared on that note February 11, right? Yes. 1977. Yeah. And then it became a polymer note many years.
So guys, let me quickly take you through some of the reactions from Nigerians as the US plans to designate Fulani militias as terror groups. Now, let's see what Nigerians are saying. This person here said, Kwankwaso didn't see this coming. U.S. lawmaker proposed bill on religious persecution in Nigeria. Now, he added a section there that says the Department of State and the Department of Treasury should impose targeted sanction, including visa ban and asset freeze under the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act on individuals, entities, responsible for severe religious freedom violation or report to Congress the reason such sanctions have not been imposed, including Fulani ethnic nomad militias in Nigeria. Rabi Kwankwaso, former Kanu state governor, Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, MACBAN, and Mieti Allah Terrörists. This one is going to touch almost all the Fulanis in power because they belong to all this Mieti Allah Cattle Breeder group or Mieti Allah Terrörists. So guys, this is going to affect so many of them. I mean, the US is not playing. The US is not joking. And then this person said, bill seeking the possible designation of Fulani militias as foreign terrorist organization over religious violence in Nigeria. Fulani must accept ranching or otherwise inviting U.S. retribution that will be welcomed by other Nigerians. Power must change hands. And then this other person also reacted saying it is long overdue. They should nuke those ethnic terrorists going around the country like demons shedding innocent blood. For centuries, the Fulanis have had a standby militia, some camped in Mauritania, Chad, Niger, and other countries to push their ethnic and political agenda, ready to be deployed in Nigeria if it takes Trump to put an end to that. So be it. So you are hearing it that they have a Fulani militia standby. Like when Buhari say Babu, blood will soak Babu or whatever. This is actually what Buhari planned. And during the 2015 election, we're told that they brought in so many Fulanis. They refused to go back. And then Nigeria is now reaping from the APC government destruction they've brought on Nigerians. You know that the APC is seen as a Fulani organization. Before you become a president there, you must go into strong agreements with them. And that's actually what is tying Tinubu's hand. Tinubu does not know how to stand up and be a man as a leader of a country. See, after the massacre in Kwara State, what has the president told Nigerians? Fulani men went into Kwara State, massacre people, and nobody is saying anything. Tinubu does not want to step on toes. Now, this person here said, this is a welcome development and lawmakers should do a lot of good. Okay. And the lawmakers would do a lot of good and save more some lives if they fast track the bill. Very good one. A good step to curtail their excesses in Nigeria. The disintegration of Nigeria is the only solution. You can't have snakes in house and expect a good night's sleep. Rest, remove the snake or stay away from the house. The answer. And this person here say, Biafra, don't let yourself be fooled by this. If the US don't want to stop the killing of Christians in Nigeria, they what to do. I don't know. This person made a mistake here. It's not about tagging killers' name from far away, and this makes sense. So it's not about calling them out from far away. You know, this person say your news is not detailed enough. You avoided mentioning Kwankwaso. This is how you people deceive Nigerians with fake half news. Thank God for X, where you can get the raw and real facts. US lawmakers are finally shining their light on religious persecution in Nigeria's middle belt. This is going to be another bombshell for Kwankwaso, considering the fact that he actually wants to partner with Peter Obi, you know, in the next election. So, guys, I don't know what you make of this. Let me know your honest reaction in the comment section below. Thank you.